Good day to everyone. I'm here with a lesson that is on water. Lesson number 4, water for 4th standard. Please open your books on 229. Now before I start the lesson, water. Now water is a very important factor in our daily lives. We need water for drinking, bathing, cooking, washing clothes, washing the utensils, washing our vehicles, mopping floors. For everything we need water. Water is very important. And what are the different ways or sources that we get water? We get from rain, we get from wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, underground springs. And even as I told you the last class, the last semester we had learned that the ice from the mountain tops in the Himalayas melt and water comes down flowing as the river Ganges. So this is also a source of water, the ice from the mountain top melting and coming down as rivers. So page 229, name 3 natural sources of water. It is rain, pond and lake. Name 3 human-made sources of water. So 3 ways in how we get water by human-made sources. One is the pool, one is the dam that is built, and one is the canal. Now dams and canals are built by humans, and even pools where water is conserved or stored for using it for various other purposes. Do you know that all living things need water to live? We can live without water, food for a few days, but it is impossible to live without water. Even you need water when you talk a lot, when you run a lot, when you are doing exercise. You need water, especially on summer days, you sweat a lot, you need water. And you should drink water to see that you don't suffer from dehydration. Water is an important natural resource. About 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. Most of the water we use comes from rain. However, rainfall is not equally distributed over all parts of our country. Some places receive a lot of rainfall, while some receive scanty rainfall. People living in places that receive scanty rainfall do not have enough water even for drinking, bathing, cooking or washing. Now as I have told you in the previous class that rainfall is not the same for all parts in India. We here in Kerala receive a lot of rain, whereas Rajasthan, the desert, receives very scanty rainfall. And there's very little water for the people to use for their daily needs and also for the farming purposes, and also even to give cattle. Sometimes there's a water scarcity. And that is why we always dwell on the idea that water should be conserved for future use. And we always talk about water conservation. To reduce our dependence on rain, several irrigation projects have been undertaken by the government. River water is diverted to fields through canals. For example, the Indira Gandhi Canal in Rajasthan provides water to a large part of northwest India. Now in the summer season, as I told you, some places do not get rainfall at all for months. And of course it is very, very bad for the people and for the animals there and for the agriculture too. The farms go without water, the fields go without water, and animals die due to lack of water. And people also have to walk for miles and miles to fetch water for their daily use. So we depend solely on rain, only on rainfall. So what the government has done is it has come up with some irrigation projects where the water is diverted to fields through canals. The water from the rivers is made into go to fields through canals. That is, canals are built like a drainage system, and water from the river is channeled through these canals to reach the different fields, and it is known as the Indira Gandhi Canal in Rajasthan. Now this Indira Gandhi Canal in Rajasthan, the main use of this canal is to take water or to the different parts of northwest India, where there are fields which have no water, especially during the summer season when there is no rainfall and a drought is likely to set in. The Indira Gandhi Canal system supplies water to the agricultural lands. In some areas where underground water is easily available, wells have been dug. In other areas, tube wells have been installed. These tube wells enable us to pump up water to the surface. Now in some places there is underground water. Then of course you can dig wells like you have in Kerala. Here also many houses here have wells and you can draw water. But in some places the water is far below the ground surface, and then the only method of bringing out water from there is by installing a tube well. Now you have seen a tube well, that is, you pull the handle like that up and down, and that force of the suction pressure brings the water from deep down under the earth upwards. So the tube well is also one important way in which we can take water out from the under the ground from the well. Next page please. Dams are built across rivers to store water. Some of them are also called multi-purpose projects because of their different uses. They act as reservoirs and also help in controlling floods. Dams are used to generate electricity from water. This electricity is then provided to the nearby areas. Electricity generated from water is called hydroelectricity. Now here in Kerala, you must have heard that when the floods are coming on TV, the news is saying that the dam gates have been opened. Now why the dam gates are open? Because of the heavy rainfall, the dam gets full of water. And naturally when it gets full, the dam will overflow. The water will overflow the dam and cause a lot of damage. So what happens is the government officials, they open the gates of the dams and the water is let out. Now these dams are built to store water for use when there is shortage of water. Now dams have another use also for us because they are the places where electricity is generated, and electricity that is generated through water is known as hydroelectric power. And this electricity that is generated in dams is distributed to the areas nearby. So the dam is one such structure that helps to control the floods, and also it stores water, and next is this stored water is made use to generate hydroelectric power. Now coming to the different dams. The Bhakra Nangal Dam is built on the Satluj River. It provides electricity and water to Delhi and its neighbouring states. It is one of the biggest dams in the world. So you have read about Satluj, Beas, Jhelum, Ravi and Chenab, the 5 tributaries of the Indus in the last semester. So this Bhakra Nangal is set up on the banks of the river, not on the banks, on the river Satluj, and supplies electricity to Delhi and its neighbouring states. Next one is the Damodar Valley project. It is in Jharkhand and built on the river Damodar. The Damodar Valley project is built across the river Damodar in Jharkhand. It is also a very huge project and it generates electricity to all the nearby areas. The Hirakud Dam is built across the river Mahanadi in Orissa. So we all know in the previous semester we studied that Mahanadi is in Orissa, and this Hirakud Dam project is built on the river Mahanadi, and it is the longest dam in India. Next you have the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam. Is built across the river Krishna at Nagarjuna in Andhra Pradesh. So again, going back to the geography lesson in the last semester, the river Krishna is in Andhra Pradesh. So the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam is built across the river Krishna in Andhra Pradesh. This is one of the world's tallest masonry dams. That means the structure or the height of the wall is so huge and so tall that it is one of the highest dams in the world. Next one, the Krishnaraja Sagar Dam, one of the first multi-purpose dams built in India, is built across the river Kaveri. Now Krishnaraja Sagar Dam is built on the river Krishna, and it is one of the first multi-purpose dams. Now why do you say multi-purpose? Because it gives water for hydroelectric power, and also the water is used for irrigation. The Pichi Dam in Thrissur the Idukki Dam and the Parambikulam Dam are important dams of Kerala. So you must have heard of the Pichi Dam in Thrissur, the Idukki Dam, that is, last time also it was nearing the capacity, the full capacity, and the Parambikulam Dam are important dams of Kerala. With this, I come to the end of the lesson. Thank you.